today's Tutorial Tuesday is such a good one. You've just seen the highlight reel of how the effect plays out, but if you want to see a full, uncut, unedited live performance, then click the link that's going to appear right here. It's also in the description down below. It was the signed Total Restored card video from last Thursday. You all see me perform to my wife, Kaylee.
How was yours signed?
Show everyone at home.
Your piece was off there. Your piece was torn. Yours was the torn bit. That's my signature, and that's his signature. And that was the torn bit that I signed in the wallet. Okay, the second part is good. Really good, because I can't work that out.
And you've all been asking me to teach. So here I am, Tutorial Tuesday. You asked for it. Get ready, grab yourself a deck of cards. We're about to learn the Transposed Total Restored card. Eats. So you're going to need to do a basic setup, and you're going to need a couple of things. So one is, I'm using an Orphic Plus wallet from the 1914 by Louis Laval. And this allows me to switch at a key moment later in the effect. And you're also going to need a one-way force deck. So I've got a Jack of Clubs one-way force deck from Murphy's. And you're going to need to take out a Jack of Clubs duplicates. Okay, so let's get two of these cards out for now. And here's what's going to happen. I'm going to fold these cards exactly into quarters. All right, so you can actually see this one I practiced on earlier for my duplicate signature, but I'll do one at a time. So the first one, you literally want to fold it into perfect quarters. So I'm going to take it just like this and fold it down the middle, back and forth, just like so. All right, and then again lengthways I'm going to do exactly the same thing, back and forth across the middle, making sure that it is perfectly aligned. All right, so that's one folded. I'm going to do the same thing with the next one. I'm going to get a fresh one because this one has a signature in the corner. So again, place this off to the side for a moment. I'll fold this into perfect quarters. All right. So now we have two perfectly folded into quarter Jack of Clubs. I'll take one of them and place it into the back part of the wallet. Lastly, just before you place it in your wallet, you're going to put on your signature, okay? And it's good to write the signature on the wallet, because later on when you do it on the wallet, you'll be writing it in the same orientation, in the same place. So you should put on a duplicate signature in the top corner, and then load this in the wallet with a signature going inside, so it's hidden away. Now you can use any switching device you like, but I place it here, right? The second one, I'm gonna very carefully tear out this corner, right? So the corner that's not got the pip on it. So I hold it towards myself and I try and just tear it perfectly down to the center and then to the edge. So, and this is where these creases really help, because they're going to allow you to make clean and crisp tears. The other important note is that you want to use fresh duplicates. You don't want to use old duplicates. That's why I got a one-way forcing deck, all right? So as carefully as you can, and see how clean and crisp this is tearing, because it's a new card that's been creased well. And this is going to all help in the ultimate illusion of the effect when we go to perform. Okay. Boom, just like that. Now I've torn it out. If any leftover pieces, try and pick them off so that there's nothing, so that it is a perfect cutout. Now, with this spare corner piece, I'm going to place it here in the wallet, like that, on top of the duplicate. And this piece is just going to be folded up and placed into the wallet. Now you don't have to fold it up. You can just place it in full, and you can put it somewhere else entirely. You don't need to use this wallet, but I really like to because all the aesthetics work well. I just think it looks pretty. So you can place it in there. I also think that placing it somewhere where they have to retrieve it and then unfold it, it adds to the sort of theatre and the drama. It's not just bam, here it is, you know. Okay, now this wallet gets placed off to the side or in your pocket, wherever you want to be. So for the sake of the explanation, I'm placing it in my pocket, but as you notice in the performance, I place it on the table, right, out of view. So basically, the further away you can get this from yourself, the better. So place it anywhere you can. Whatever you do, make sure you hide this duplicate, okay? So I'm gonna place it in my pocket just for now. All right, that is the setup. Now, you're gonna need a matching deck of cards and a jack of clubs. Also, obviously, you're gonna need a Sharpie or a marker pen. Here's a tip from my performance experience. You'll notice I didn't use a Sharpie in the video, and it's not a big deal, but if you throw like a random pen off to the side, wherever, close to wherever you are performing, but sort of, especially if you're in the environment where it's casual, then if you just say, oh, can you grab a pen from somewhere? When they go to sign it, it's just another layer of deception. If they think, oh, I could have grabbed any pen, or that pen had nothing to do with it, that was just over there. It's just another layer of deception. So I didn't use a Sharpie because my wife knows all about, like, for some reason we magicians, we tend to use Sharpies for everything. I just threw a random marker pen close to us. I was like, oh, is there like a marker pen anywhere? And it just felt like it wasn't set up. It's just a small detail, but again, these small details all add up to big differences. So you need your duplicate jack of clubs, and you're going to force this jack in whatever way possible. Now you'll know in the performance video that I give Haley the chance to change your mind, and I like to do this with as many effects that rely on someone not changing their mind as possible. And the reason I allowed her to change her mind is because if she changed her mind, I would do something completely different and end up coming back to this card later on, or I'd save the effect for another day. So that, you know, if she changed her mind and it didn't feel organic to force the same card in the same way later, then I wouldn't have forced it and I would have just saved it for another day, all right? So that's another important tip, is that don't force the magic. If someone says, yeah, actually, I don't trust that's a fair choice, then continue and do a different trick using a different card. So in the video, I did like an under the spread call force thing where I just slipped that jack under the spread like this and had her touch the back of any card, and then I showed the card, right? So to do that, from an exposed view, you spread the cards, slide that jack under, whatever she touches, wherever she touches the card, I just touch and square these up like that, right? And then I can take the jack. And at this point you can say it doesn't matter to see. Again, you can use anything. You can do a riffle force. So if you have the jack in the center, get a break above the jack, and then riffle down the edge. We all know the riffle force. Come over, pick up the deck, hold down. So you're picking up the deck at the break and lifting above that break no matter where they stop, right? This is the exposed view. But a good tip is to continue bending your thumb down in the corner so it looks like you're in the same place, right? Either way, you get the jack, and for a moment you're going to place the deck off to the side, or you can put it in your pocket, right? I like to place it off to the side because it feels weird to bring the deck back out later. Now, in the video I did a different presentation, but my good friend Rich Relish came up with a great piece of reasoning to tear the corner in conjunction with the vanish that I used. So this is what's going to happen. You're going to tear this card into, you're going to fold this card into quarters, just like we set up, and then tear one corner off. But the reasoning that Rich Relish suggested is so good. You say, in a moment, I'm going to show you how magicians palm cards, and they use that to do secret things. But you'll notice if I palm a card, my hands are so small that the corner sticks out. You can actually see the corner here, right? So what I like to do to make it easy for myself is to tear this corner off. And that's, of course, that's just a bit of patter, but Relish suggested that, and it makes it all make sense. So, to the whole routine. So what I do now is perfectly fold the card into quarters, again, just like we done. Now, because, again, this is another card from a 1x4 stack, then it's going to tear crisply, just like the preloaded folded card. So we'll fold it really quickly into quarters. And now pinch at the top corner here and tear it down. Even if it's not, like, you'll see there's a tiny bit of edge there, even if it's not identical, people will just swear that it's the same card, and you may not believe me, but I learned this from Kieran Johnson, and he uses this in his set, every single set that he performs for Magic, and it works every single time and gets incredible reactions. So I trust it, I perform it, and now I realize too that I'm converted. It doesn't have to be completely perfect, but regardless, hand this to the spectator. This is now their receipt. Okay, so this goes to them. And now you can come in and say, so with the corner gone, I'll give you an exposed view. Now when I palm that card, you'll see it doesn't stick out here, right? So you can see from above that now this edge is hidden because I've torn the corner off. And at this point, you can make the card vanish. Now I'm using a variation of the Ultra move. Now Alan Ackerman taught this to me at the Session Convention 2007. I'm not going to teach you his thing, but what he does is a one-handed way of getting a card into a certain position so you can palm and make it vanish. What I do is just a very, very, very simplified version, which has served me well for many, many years. Actually, since I learned it. And it's because I can't do the technical monkey move that Alan Ackerman showed me. But all I do is I sort of condition the spectator. I show them this. I say I'm going to palm a card, right? I'm going to palm a card, but I'm going to, and then as I'm talking, I say but, right? I come up to chest height. So I go down from waist level. As I come up to chest height, from the exposed angle, all I do is turn the card around, pull this top card back, and simply lay that card just under the top card, okay? So now I can do this. All right, and at speed, it looks like I'm gonna palm a card just like this, but I'm gonna give you an exposed view so you can see what's happening. Like that. So one more time, so I'm gonna palm a card, but I'll give you an exposed view so you can see what's happening. And at speed, from the exposed angle, I'm going to palm a card, but I'm going to show you guys an exposed view so you can all see what's happening. Right? Then, as I come down, it looks like nothing happens, right? But what I'm going to really do is reach over and square this piece in. But these fingers don't move. These fingers do not move until I am already at this angle. Okay, so I say, look, you can see the card now with that corner piece missing. Now when I hold my hand at this position, you can't see the corner sticking out. And obviously I've stolen it. Remember not to let this piece stick out exposed. So from here, that, come up, and the exposed view is as I pan down, I steal the card in, right? And at this point you can just go south with a deck or place it off to the side because there's nothing in my hand. But this is all acting at this point. So boom, I'm here, and it vanishes. At this point, this is pretty good, right? But now, like in the performance video, my wife wasn't too impressed because she's seen me do these sorts of things. But for a layman, do not underestimate the power of this moment. This is huge, and this is the first part of the magic happening. This is number one of like 3 big things that are going to happen. So that card's vanished now. It's amazing to them, and they still have this corner piece, right? And you can also talk about how when you tear cards, it leaves a unique mark in them, like a scar, which there's no two alike. And at this point, you can point to the wallet, bring it out, or have them reach for it, have them open it up, they're holding onto this piece, and make this feel big, right? Make this feel like a moment. Let them reach in and take out the piece, and they'll match it up together. And this is a very, very impossible effect, and they will swear blind. They'll swear that this is the same corner, because it's just, I've been trying to figure out the psychology of why this works so well, and it's, I think there's a few reasons, but one of the things is because I think it's just too bold for them to think that you're just going to try and tell them it's a different corner. You're flat out lying to them. And I think it's just too bold. You're like, no, this really is the same corner. Check it out. And they look and they go, yeah, it is. No, you can literally see. And it's not. Now, there's actually a couple of convincers you can do, which you know, I should have sort of covered with you, but I think I'll leave them for a different day, because there's so many things you can do to up the ante on this, but this is just the basic explanation. But at this point, this is very, very convincing, and this is an effect all of its own. So wait for this to sort of sink in, and don't forget, now we've spoken about, well, from the performance, you would have spoken about how it's a unique marking on the card. And like you'll see in the video, I just don't say much. I'm letting them react, and I very casually take the torn 3/4 card and I place it into the wallet like this. All right, so I place that torn edge, that torn piece in here, just like so, and I place the 1/4 piece on top of it, just like that. Now from here, all you need to do is to execute a switch. If you're not using a wallet, you could switch this in your pocket. And what I suggest is that what you would do is, if you're just going to do a pocket switch, the full piece in the pocket would be folded in half, right? And then this piece would be full. I'd take it back from them after they've examined that it all fits. I'd fold it in half. I'd hold this piece against it like that. And then I would do like a cross and the gaze sort of switch and just swap it as I'm looking for the pen, right? So you don't fully need the wallet, but it makes your life so much easier. So this goes in here. This goes on top. And you have, like you'll see in the video, you get all the misdirection in the world because they think the trick is over. The effect has happened. And especially if you place the pen off to the side, you can do anything you want. But essentially, you're going to just turn this wallet over and switch it. All right? So, switch happens as they're doing anything. The trick's over, so it's not even a big deal. You can do it. You can do it by your side. You can do it how Lewis teaches it in the video. There's a million different ways. Whatever happens, you're switching it over, and it's really easy. So, I have the pen. And now, I love this moment. You're so far ahead and they have no idea. What I do is there's a second way to mark the card, right? Like a scar is unique, so is a fingerprint. There's no two alike. So what I'm going to do is sign my name on the corner. Now you're going to sign it just like you did earlier. So on this corner, you're just going to replicate it as close as you can, like this. Sign that corner. And then I literally move this down out the way, but they can see it's a separate piece, which is a convincer. And I have them sign their name across the top. But don't forget, this is the full card, right? So I'll just write Kaylee's name. Kay Lee. Just like that, okay? Now, how good does this look? If you just think about it from a layman's point of view, they can see that your signed piece is a separate entity and their signature. The trick's over. They probably think you're gonna let them keep these pieces as a souvenir or something. They're not expecting what's gonna happen next. And here's what I do. I pretend like I'm pulling both these pieces out. But what I really do is, as I start to turn this up, I slide this piece into the wallet. And it's important to know, I do it with my left hand because I'm gonna cover essentially this corner with this card, right? Because they're going to see that this is not there, but it's not a super big deal. So here, I'm going to come forward, slide this piece in as I fold this back, right? And now, as I'm making sure that this piece is under the wallet, I'm doing this with my thumb, I'm just making sure it's in. I pull it like that, ditch the wallet, so we can go back in my pocket. And it's better to put the wallet in the pocket at this point because they're not going to look at it after. And I pretend that I'm sort of making sure I don't want to drop the piece, so I'm being a bit careful. I'm like, oh, let me fold these pieces up as well. So in my language as well, that I describe it as pieces, not a piece or card. And what I'm doing is, as I'm folding, I'm making sure you can't see this. And it's actually really, really, really good angles. Like, you can't, it's very hard to flash that the piece is already restored and they think there's another piece. So I take it out and I'm just going to fold it, just like in the video. So you'll hold on to these pieces. I'm going to fold them, place them in your hand. And then I just throw in a little bit of, like in the performance, I say, oh, I'm going to make the piece vanish from your hand and jump back to the wallet. That would be a miracle. Oh, no, I can't do that. Blah, I don't know. Anything else, right? But you can do what you want. Now, you could do something like Danny DeOrtiz would talk about, which is like expectations, where you say to somebody, if I could really do magic, what would you want me to do with these pieces? And of course, they would say, put them back together, right? Because it's expectations. And you say, oh, all right, I thought you were going to say make them vanish, but if you want back together, back together. If you said make them change color, they change color. But if you say back together, and it makes it feel like this free choice of what they choose to happen, right? It's a really interesting concept of expectations. Either way, they're holding the card at this point. When you finish, they open their hands up. Inside is the fully restored piece, and that's the end, and it's a bleeding miracle. There's a bit of setup, but it's so worth it, and the effect is so powerful, and you can really make this into a bigger performance piece. And there's not much more to say on it. I think the effect, the structure is it builds. It's quite simple in the way in which it is to be understood. Like, it's not a very confusing effect, and ultimately you get a lot of mileage out of it. So it gets a lot from just such a simple setup. You get so much from it. Oh, first things first, if you enjoyed that, then please hit the subscribe button and drop me a like on the video. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought. What a powerful effect with basically, apart from the vanish, which you can choose to do a million different ways. You could throw it over a boat, you could slide it in someone's prison cell, you could give it to Ghislaine Maxwell before she goes to prison forever. Anything you want to do, you can vanish that card. But essentially, because you're sacrificing yourself doing a 30-second setup before you perform, you get this powerful piece of magic that is essentially sleight of hand free. You do any force you want. You can do a cross-cut force, so you can do it in their hands. You do the vanish however you want. You could literally give it to a spectator and say, hey, go ahead and literally put it down a drain so you know that it's gone, and then have it reappear. I mean, you can get as creative as you want, but you can make this as hands-off as you want. Then you reveal it in the wallet or wherever you want, and they can see that it matches. And then all you need to do, because they think the effect is over, all you need to do is switch that torn card for the restored card. And you can do it using a simple wallet switch. You can use a quiver. You can use your pocket to switch it. You can do anything you want, but in the mind of the spectator, the effect's over. So you've got all the misdirection in the world to do the simplest move ever, and then it restores signed. I mean, it's powerful magic, and for the sake of doing a basic setup, you just get to make your life so much easier. So I hope you all enjoyed it. I loved creating it last week, and I really enjoyed performing it and testing it out. And I really didn't think it was going to be as well perceived when I did the live performance on my wife. So it was a shock to me, and it's definitely something that I'm going to perform all the time now. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to have any suggestions, leave them down below. I think you can get so creative with this trick that some of you are gonna take it and just make it something that I don't even recognize when I see it next. So I'm excited to see what you guys come up with, and thank you all. So I'll be back on Thursday again with another live piece of magic that you'll all get to see me perform to someone. Hopefully it'll be my wife, but I could be somewhere even more crazy, so who knows. I might be able to show you something very special, but tune in, and then I'll see you after Thursday. We'll be back with Rory Adams on the live Sunday special that starts. It's live at 5 every Sunday, and this week we're in for a very special episode. Rory's going to tell us all about his brand new book, and if you don't know who he is, go and check out oneahead.club. He's one of the world's best TV magic consultants that is now writing the One Ahead online blog, which is blowing up. So go and check it out, whatahead.club. Thank you all so much. I love teaching you this trick this week, and I can't wait to see you all on Thursday.